How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today, we have to take a look at the crypto market, talk about the worst case scenario. Right now, we're seeing a lot of red. We saw Bitcoin touch down under 33,000. I want to talk about that, talk about what we could see going forward, and maybe a couple positives coming up. But right now, the market is pretty bearish. So let's talk about that and talk about why you still want to be investing into Bitcoin. Now, if you guys don't mind hitting the like button and the subscribe button, I really do appreciate that. It helps out the channel a lot. There's also a link down there to FTX where you can buy and sell crypto for some of the cheapest fees out there. They allow you to get free crypto on trades over $10, and you can track a ton of different cryptos there as well, making it a lot easier just to keep track of all your different cryptos and different portfolios. There's also a link down there to Unstoppable Domains where you can get a readable wallet address to make it a lot easier to receive crypto. So you guys can check out both of those links underneath the video. Now, Bitcoin is looking pretty bad. Let's reload the page. It is under 33,000. This isn't actually up to date. This is not a very bullish time, obviously. The crypto market has been down week in and week out. I believe it's 6 weeks in a row now, right? We're just seeing red after red after red. Altcoins are bleeding to Bitcoin. This is why I've been talking about over the last couple months buying Bitcoin and not buying a lot of altcoins, right? I've been buying maybe 95 to 99% Bitcoin and not really been averaging into a lot of the other altcoins too much. There have been a couple exceptions. I bought Ethereum so I could buy an NFT. I bought some Solana about a month ago, and further back, I bought some Terra about a month ago and further back. But I've been really focusing on Bitcoin because of the macro environment. We're seeing a lot of red, and it's not just crypto, right? The stock market's down 2% after being down. The NASDAQ was down 5% on Thursday, and then down 2% the day after, now down 2% again. So we're basically down half of a bear market or half of a market crash in 3 trading days. It's crazy to think about. I mean, some stocks, even like Palantir, they announced earnings today. Honestly, their earnings weren't bad. They missed on EPS, which no one cares. It's a growth company, but people care right now, I should say. So long term, it doesn't really matter, but they're still being hammered down 21% today because this is a bear market. This is where everyone's fearful. And if you don't have earnings right now, if you don't blow out expectations, then no one cares. You can see too, we had a lot of longs liquidated. Over the last 24 hours, we've had $236 million worth of longs liquidated. And you can just see a lot of longs over the last 5 days being liquidated. Like that's a lot of the reason I think we're down is we've seen 340, 130, 140, 215. That's basically $1 billion worth of longs liquidated in about 5 days. I mean, that's crazy, right? That's just crazy town. And when you look at the Bitcoin coming off exchanges, you can see it continues to come off. Now there has been a little uptick recently. Same thing with Ethereum. A little bit going on to exchanges, probably to be sold off. That might be another reason we're seeing a little bit of a discount in price. But let's talk about worst case scenario, right? Because there's still a lot of bullish things happening to crypto specifically, like a lot of new adoption. Let's talk about Fidelity for a second, right? Millions of people being able to get Bitcoin in their retirement accounts. That's going to be huge, assuming that we can actually get that. So that kind of adoption is huge, but it's months down the road, right? We're not seeing that happen yet. And the fact is we still have a terrible macro environment with the Fed tightening, with global war, even supply chain constraints, and a lot of other tech companies just falling to pieces, right? Their stock prices falling to pieces. We also have lower outlook from a lot of them as well. So there are discounts in other parts of the investing world as well. So what is the worst case scenario for Bitcoin? Knowing all this and knowing that I still think that this is a superior form of money, that it's going to do really well. This is going to be, I think, probably one of the best investments you can make over the next 5 or 10 years, especially because there's going to be some stocks that outperform it, obviously, but we don't know what those are, right? It's not going to be Amazon or Apple or anything like that. I think Bitcoin's going to outperform just about anything that's its size over the next 5 to 10 years. So how bad can it get? Because again, I'm bullish long term, but how bad can it get short term? Because honestly, I'm kind of happy when it falls down right now. We've seen it fall down a significant amount, and I've been adding, and I've been talking about it on my Twitter, and I've been calling for lower prices. I want lower prices because long term, if I can buy in at 29,000, I'm happy. That's exciting for me because I know how much it's worth. If you looked at it as a company, right? If you see more adoption happening, if you see more people wanting it, but the price is falling down, that's good. I mean, it's not like Bitcoin has had some massive hack or anything. The fundamentals or the qualities of Bitcoin are really strong, especially when you see inflation at like 9% in the US and outside the US, some countries are 70%. Bitcoin's pretty strong. So what do we see? Well, we have the 100 week. It's around 37,000, 36,000. We broke through that pretty bad. We also have this level that we bounced off actually twice now, right around 32.7, 32.9. So we're holding that as support right now. We're right around 33,000. If we break that, we could fall back down to the 30,000 mark. I think that's the next thing that we hit. Maybe 31,000. I believe we've seen the price bounce off there once before, but we're probably going back down to around 30,000, assuming the market continues to go down, right? I think if we see another day of red in stocks where we fall maybe 2% or 3%, we could see another drop down in Bitcoin's price. So with that in mind, 30,000. After that, we're looking right around 28.5, 28.6. That's where we bounced off before. And actually, we bounced off of it several times. If you look back here, when we were in a bull market, we still bounced off of it, held it as support, and then ran up. So we held it as support last summer and then ran up. We might break below that. If we break below that, we're looking at the 200-week moving average. So that's around 22,000, right around there. And we have typically seen that's one of the lowest points in a bear market. So if we see that over the coming months, that's really a time to buy. Like that's a time to, I don't want to say drain the bank account, but that's a time to buy pretty heavily. So keep that in mind. We could fall that low, but as time goes on, this continues to rise. So by the time we reach in 5 or 6 months, it might be 23, 24, 25,000. Last year at this time, it was 12,000. Now it's at 22,000. So keep that in mind, right? This continues to become more and more valuable, but those are kind of the worst case scenarios. We're looking at 32.7. If we break that, 30, then 29 or 28.5, somewhere in there, and then down to the 200 week. Now, remember, I'm still really bullish. Like, it sucks, and mostly because, not because I'm going to retire anytime soon, but because, honestly, less people watch YouTube, and there's less money floating around when we're in a bear market. Like, my business does better in a bull market, but I know that I'm getting much better prices, and over the long term, this is going to be a great asset class. Same thing with some of these stocks, right? Some of these stocks are trading so cheap right now that I get excited when I see red. Like if I see a little bit of green, I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. But I want it to break down a little bit further because I know if we get down to this level, let's say 22, 23,000, that's going to be probably the buy of my lifetime. Like that's a 50x to a million, nearly, maybe 46 or 47x, something like that. That is going to be a fantastic buy. And that's going to be when everyone is worried. And we're already at max fear right now on the fear and greed index. So I know if we get down there, I'm going to be buying pretty heavily. And it's going to feel terrible at the time because I'm going to think, oh man, I've lost so much money. I don't know if we're going to get back. And then we're going to get back. We're going to go probably, maybe a couple months after that, we're going to get back over 30,000. Probably going to range sideways for a little bit at the bottom, then start raising up. Inflation comes down if it hasn't come down already, because remember, we could see inflation come down this week. We have a CPI data reading, and maybe all of this is arbitrary. Maybe none of this happens. Maybe we bounce off 33. We kind of just range sideways for the next 2 days, and then we get the CPI data. It looks pretty good. The whole macro environment changes. People realize that the Fed isn't going to have to be as strict with raising rates, and maybe we just range a little bit, and then go back up. Maybe this is the prolonged bull market that we never saw coming, where we have 6 weeks in a row down. We've seen a lot of red recently, but maybe it turns around. If it doesn't, I'm going to still be a buyer. I was really, really clear at the beginning of the year when we started to actually see red. We had already seen red for a couple of months. I was really clear that I was stacking stablecoin around this level. Actually, all of January, I was stacking stablecoin, trying to put a lot in Anchor protocol. And it's actually done really well for me because now I'm actually withdrawing from there. I'm withdrawing a little bit less than 10% at a time to go put into Bitcoin on dips. So I am using that money. I'm actually withdrawing it. And even though there's a little bit of a peg, it fell from the peg, a little peg issue, the fact is it's still been a great investment for me because peg is 0.993 on UST stablecoin. And it will go back to $1 in my opinion. But that's 1 month of interest, actually less than 1 month of interest. That's about 2 weeks of interest. So the fact is I've had money in there for 5 months. It sat there while the whole market has dipped down. And now I can take it out, making money, and put it into a market that's worse. So that's actually done really well for me. And now I'm starting to withdraw, right? I'm going to keep on taking distributions out of there to put into the market. And as we fall lower, I might even put more in. Like I'm going to continue to put more into Bitcoin, but I might make bigger buys in UST terms as we fall lower. So I don't mind this market at all. I realize that we have to have a bear market sometime. Kind of sucked that we didn't have like an amazing blow off top where we could all tell there was a blow off top because we kind of got this double peak where a lot of us thought, okay, we're going to go up to 100,000 or 80, 90, something like that. We never got that, so far at least. So far, we just had this double peak. We had a lot of good news in here, a ton of good news, but the macro environment just isn't good. People say don't fight the Fed, and that's held up here. So let me know your opinion on this underneath the video. Do you think we can hit 30,000, 28,500? Do you think we're going to go down to the 200 week? Let me know in the comment section below. This is the worst case scenario, but I think that we will get through this. Of course, let me be clear, we could fall below this. Not very likely we stay down there very much. And if that happens, it's probably a great time to buy. Unless something totally changes with Bitcoin where somehow someone makes more Bitcoin or something like that, that's going to be an amazing time to buy if we ever get down there again. So let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Check out FTX underneath the video to start trading crypto, and check out Unstoppable Domains, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.